Craig, when you look at JMO's last performance in another elimination game, just what most impressed you and what kind of bodes well for tomorrow?
Well, I think what you want from all your players is just best version of themselves, and to, as much as you can, be yourself and kind of let the moment elevate you. And I think that's what JMO did. He pitched like he pitches. Didn't try to do something different than he's good at. And that's all you need is an echo of me. And that's what makes you successful. And I think he did let kind of the moment take him to another place. And that's exactly what you want.
A few more for Craig. Go to Sahadev in the fourth row.
Craig, and I guess hindsight is 20/20, but how much would you say Cade Horton's injury kind of put you in a situation where you're pushing guys more than you want to, or would have liked to, over these last 5 games of the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, you want your best players to be able to participate, and your best players help you win games. So injuries to anybody, Justin Steele, Cade Horton, they all hurt.
Come to Bruce down in the front.
Craig, as a fan of sports and the game of baseball in particular, how interested are you to see how your guys respond to an elimination game and respond to the pressure of it? Because obviously you performed at the highest level during that yourself, and you've managed teams that have done that. Do you allow yourself time to look at that part of it?
Yeah, I mean, look, we've had experience with it. We just did it on Thursday, and now we're going to have to do it 3 times. But in the end, it boils down to just taking care of pitches, taking care of the moment, and not getting past it. And that's all you think about. Win the moment and then move on to the next one. And we're going to have to do it, a whole bunch over the course of 3 games. So that's the challenge, and it's a big one, and it's a fun one. But that's the one in front of us, and we get to tackle it tomorrow.
We're going to go to Paul, 5 rows back in the middle off the aisle. Paul, it's coming around your.
With your starters not going long the last couple games, would you be inclined to let Jameson go longer, or is this just different because it's the playoffs and you have your plan already set?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're open to whatever. I mean, it's a read the game, and we understand that it's an elimination game, and that means you're not saving anything. So that it's not because our starters haven't gone long, we should just let them do it this game. It's what do we got to do to win the game, and that's how we'll think about it tomorrow.
Jesse, third row.
Craig, what kind of things are you and maybe the hitting people diving into, examining some of the offensive issues or low run scoring totals or whatever?
Well, essentially, look, you're just trying to get guys in the best position tomorrow to have success, and that's really kind of mostly on an individual basis. Is just trying to get people in a spot to have good at bats, and that means get on base in whatever way, to be confident. Those are the things you're after. There's no, obviously you dig into this opposing pitcher and the scouting report on that, and try to come up with a plan to have success there. But most importantly, get our guys in the best position to have success tomorrow.
Let's go to Christina on the 4th row on the left.
Just going back to JMO, what he has meant, I guess, during his Cubs tenure, and especially to this ball club in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, I think JMO is one of those guys who's he is the veteran major league player that takes a lot of pride in kind of like the process, and that's what he's always talking about and sticks to, and is very disciplined too. Tries to teach to others. And it never wavers, and I think that's what from your older players and your experienced players, that consistency of never wavering, no matter what's going on around you, is something that's always admired. It's the calm in the storm that I think JMO's always been really good at providing.
Come back to the right side. Adam, second row.
Craig, we've remarked a couple of times of this being the first postseason matchup between the teams, but there was game 163 in 2018. And regardless of like the outcome or the details of the game, is there anything from just the buzz of that day that still stands out in your mind as you think about kind of where that game stands in this rivalry?
Yeah, I mean, look, Wrigley is a special place, and I think your moments here are remembered, and that's the biggest thing. And what I've learned is that this place, like when you think it can't provide more, it provides more. And I think it did it for us last week. I think that game's a great example of why you remember it so well. But I think it's just the place. I mean, the place has a wonderful way of doing it.
Patrick, third row on the right.
Craig, with Pete Crow Armstrong, like given his capacity to learn and like his level of engagement through the whole season, what do you think this October has kind of done for him of being in these environments? And when you talk about kind of the moments and meeting the moment and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is I think we'd all consider Pete a pretty emotional player, and I think we'd all say that October ramps that up even more. And I think so. Those are great lessons for, I think, a player to learn, is kind of like what it does to you. And you learn about how it helps you. And I think Pete's still learning, like how emotion really helps him. How does it hurt me sometimes? And I think moments where it's heightened, even a better teacher for things like that. So I think Pete's, everybody's going, and everybody goes through that too. Pete's not like unique to that, but everybody goes through it. And they're learning experiences, and they're great learning experiences for sure.
Bruce.
Craig, no matter what anyone says, you guys are trying to put the best team, the best version of the Cubs out there each game. As far as not getting the best version of some of your pitchers, how do you and your coaching staff internalize that and move by that? Just deal with the outcome and move past it.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the outcome, and now like you immediately start trying to prepare them to succeed the next time they go out there and pitch. You don't just get to sit there and cry about it. You got to go out there and perform the next time. So our job as coaches and for the player too, is you take what you learn. You try to come up with a plan for the next time to have success, because you got to move on. You got to move to the next moment. That's what a lot of this is about. The playoffs are about. Sports are about. Move to the next moment. If you get stuck on that thing behind you, the next moment ain't going to work out either. And so that's what we're doing right now, and that's what we're going to continue to do to prepare those guys for the next time they take the mound.
Let's go to Tony, straight back in the middle.
Craig, you just talk about all the adversity and stuff that you guys kind of have to go through now with backs against the wall. What have you learned from your group and how they've handled adversity already this season?
Oh, man, I mean, again, it's a lesson that athletes are taught every day, right? Is that you don't get a result you want, and what are you going to do about that result? How do you process it moving forward? It's kind of the same question, frankly, and it's part of it. You're disappointed in results. All right, what's next? That's how you do it, and that's the best way to turn the page. Do you learn from a result? Do you go over the result and figure out what could I do better? What could I change? Could I have handled the situation differently? And then you start looking forward to the next moment. That's how we have to do it, and that's what this group does. That's what every team does. That's what great athletes do. And it's, then you get into a battle tomorrow where the other side is going to try to kick your tail too. And so you got to be ready for the same things to happen. But part of being great at this is responding to the bad stuff and running towards it, man. That's part of this. And you can't be afraid of it. You got to look forward to it. It happens sometimes. We put ourselves in a hole this series, no question about it. We get to decide how the story ends.
JMO, Craig was just talking about how you guys kind of have the opportunity to just decide the ending of your story this season. What's your perspective? How do you view tomorrow's game and really what's kind of standing in front of you guys?
Yeah, I mean, games 1 and 2 didn't go the way we wanted. That being said, I think a lot of guys have said it. Just all we can focus on is tomorrow. And if we want to make a run at this thing and try to come back, like, we have to win tomorrow. You can't look too far ahead. So how that pertains to me is just doing my job, going out there and setting the tone, preparing the right way, taking notes, watching video, going about my process the right way, and making sure I'm buttoned up and ready to go. So yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that. Like, it starts tomorrow, and obviously being a starting pitcher, like, hopefully I can do my job and set the tone and see where that can take us.
Megan, second row in the middle.
How would you just describe this run you've been on personally, just with how well you've been pitching, and what do you feel like has been the key to that?
Yeah, it's kind of weird because the second half was a little choppy for me, getting hurt. I had some really tough starts, and then I got hurt, and I was able to just use that time to regroup and obviously rehab my calf, but also try to find ways to get better while I was down and diagnose, why I was struggling and what was going on. And I feel like there's been some pitch usage things. I feel like we've optimized some of my pitch grips and the way I'm using things. Yeah, and just, when I go on rehab starts, being intentional about what I want to get done and the kind of work I want to do so I'm ready when I come back. And then, yeah, just some of it's momentum. You have one good outing and you remember what that feels like and just try to carry that over. So, yeah, I mean, it's been good. And at the same time, like, every game has a new life. And, the Brewers don't care what I did 5 days ago. Like, I have to go out there and do things the right way again tomorrow.
Taylor, straight back.
JMO, I know you said after you struck out Tatis, it was the loudest you've ever heard a stadium. How much have you thought about that moment, that game, in kind of preparation for tomorrow?
Yeah. I mean, Wrigley was incredible. I'm happy that we're back here and have a chance to play in front of these fans again. Yeah, I mean, that was electric. Getting my toes wet in the postseason there. It's been a while. I know Wrigley was in the city of Chicago, was hungry for playoff baseball, so you could feel it. And yeah, I think it's a good lesson to myself, like, when the crowd is that electric and when the moment's that big and the pressure's that big and important, an executed pitch is still the best pitch. I don't need to be out there pounding my chest. Like, that's not my game. Try not to let it, take over what I'm doing emotionally. Just go out there and execute pitches. And I kind of sold out to that last time. Just what's my biggest strength? If I gain a mile an hour from adrenaline, that's not really going to matter. What's going to matter is whether I sequence right and execute pitches the right way. So I kind of plan on just doubling down with that again.
Christina.
Counsell mentioned you're kind of the calm in the storm. How did you get to that point, maybe in your career or your life, that's how you're described?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of work. I have to be intentional about my mental game and my process. That's one thing. I'm extremely disciplined with my routine and my process, but also, like, I've struggled a lot, and that helps. I've bounced back from struggles. I've been hurt a lot, which unfortunately, I mean, it's never fun, but I think that's taught me a lot. And just gotten my priorities in check. So it's not one thing, but I think experience is probably the biggest, and then just experience with struggling and, being able to build my process the way I want over the years and then stick to it has been a key.
Maddie on the left.
You touched on it just there and talk all the time about, like, knowing what it is to be the hurt guy. I'm just curious what your conversations have been like with Cade, like, obviously a really big part of how you guys got here, and now just having to sit and hope that he gets the chance to come back.
Yeah. I mean, he was a huge reason why we're here. this rotation, going through the year, we had some ups and downs and guys that missed time like myself. And Cade comes up from AAA and was a difference maker, not just on the field, but off the field, gelling with the group, being a great teammate. And yeah, I mean, when we put him on the IL, he was pretty emotional about it, understandably so. He wants to be out there. So yeah, I mean, I felt that with him. And yeah, I think, when we've celebrated and stuff, it's just making sure he knows how big a part he is of this. And I would love nothing more than to give him a chance to pitch again. So again, just all starts with tomorrow.
Megan?
I was just curious, Brewers Game 3 starter Quinn Priester was in the Pirates organization when you were there, and I know you were obviously at the major league level, but I was curious if you remember hearing about him after they took him in the first round, and just what it's like going up, when the other team's, putting out a guy who's on the younger side of his career and hasn't really experienced moments like this.
Yeah, I definitely remember when the Pirates drafted him. I remember meeting him and stuff and interacting with him. He's a great kid, extremely talented. It was kind of a matter of when he would find success at this level, not if. He's got all the tools. So just watching from afar, there's been no interaction this year, but watching from afar, like, he's a guy that's easy to root for, and I'm happy for him. Unfortunately, it's with the Brewers, but it seems like a great landing spot for him, and he's a big part of what they've done this year. And I know he's a local kid here and stuff too from Chicago. So cool story, but not super surprised. Yeah, and as far as experience, the only way to get experience is to go through it. So I think that can be overrated sometimes. Like, if you have the right mentality and stuff, it doesn't really matter.
Christina?
I guess when you signed here 3 years ago, just the path to get to this point where I guess it was kind of where the organization was trying to, speed up the rebuild and to get to this juncture now, just if you speak to that.
Yeah. I mean, definitely hasn't been easy. We've been really close to making the playoffs a couple times. And it's just inside the clubhouse, it's one of those groups that you believe in, and we kind of knew we were going to find a way to get into the playoffs together. So yeah, I mean, it feels special when you get to be a free agent. Obviously, it goes both ways, but picking a spot you want to end up in and build with. And then just to see kind of the process has been pretty rewarding, and to just grow with guys like Nico and Dansby and Ian Happ. I don't want to leave anyone out, but like, those guys come to mind where you're just growing together and building something here. And to really feel a part of it is pretty special.
Go to Elise, all the way in the back left.
Going back to the mental side, is there anything that you did in the wild card series, like a phrase that you would tell yourself, or an exercise, or just something to kind of hone it in? Because while it is the same game, once you go out there, I'm wondering, I would imagine like the buildup when you're running out there, you're standing out there, it just becomes like the moment you've always dreamed of, and so to bring yourself back down, I'm curious if there's anything you do.
Yeah, I didn't have anything when I was out there. It's funny. Like, I get super nervous watching the games from the side. And leading up to that game, I was honestly a little disappointed that I got pushed from a 2 o'clock to a 4 o'clock, because I just had more time to make me nervous and to sit around and think about it. But then once I walked outside, it's kind of the cliche thing, but like, once I started playing catch and throwing, it's just the same game. So that was kind of a very welcome feeling. It's like, once I started playing catch, it just kind of calmed down for me a little bit. But I also just think I was ready for a moment like that, just because I do have things I write in my journal every day that never change. I have things I focus on every day mechanically that never changes. I'm focusing on it whether it's sold out or there's no one there. It's, a game 3 or just a spring training game. Like, I'm always focused on the same things and going about my process, which I think helps. So it's not like one word, but just going through that process makes me kind of free to just go out there and compete a little bit.
Megan?
What's it been like having Justin Steele around the past week, and a guy that's obviously meant a lot to the organization the last couple of years?
Yeah. I mean, losing him this year was tough, not just on the field, but having him around. He's just a joy to be around. He loves the game, loves competing. He loves the Chicago Cubs and the city of Chicago. And I think he's maybe been in the organization the longest of anyone. So I think it's been really special for us and for him. And just kind of like what I was saying about Cade, like, I don't want it to be lost on a guy like Justin Steele, how important he is. And he's a huge reason we're here. Even though he didn't get to be healthy for a full year with us, like, he's a big reason why we're here. So yeah, it's been special, and I know he's getting ready to start throwing, which is really exciting.